Good day, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. This particular webinar is on team. I am recording a series of webinars on building successful, profitable businesses that run without you. I was speaking to one of my clients the other day, and he said his goal is to take 3 months off from his business and go on vacation and have it grow while he's away. There is no reason in the world why that can't happen. But it takes getting the fundamentals right, getting the basics, laying the groundwork. So I started with the 5 profit levers. Now I'm going to talk about team, and then I'm going to get to customer service, communication and leadership, systems and processes, and do multiple videos so you can go online and learn what it takes to build, as I said, a successful, profitable business that can run and profit and prosper without you. So let me again share a little bit about you in case, a little bit about me in case you didn't see the previous webinar. Again, my name is Laurie McNaughton. I've been coaching businesses now for almost 2 decades. I was a terrible student growing up, honestly. I fumbled my way through school into high school and realized that school wasn't really offering me anything of value. And it was primarily because I have a different learning style than the way they teach in school. So in my mid-20s, after being frustrated for a number of years, I picked up a book on personal development. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. I read that book, and that was the first book that put me on a path to a new, exciting life that I've been living now for, well, I've been on the planet for 63 years now. I'm 63 years young. I'm looking to be 93 years young. Not for 30 years, though. Anyways, that put the bug in me, and then I took a personal development course called The Pursuit of Excellence, and that set me into lifelong learning. And I wanted to be the best at what I was at that time, which was I was a salesperson. I was an outside salesperson, and I just started learning everything I could about sales, marketing, management, leadership, communication, systems development, time management, and again, I continued the personal growth path. Now, when I say, management, systems development, et cetera, that I learned in the second half of my learning phase, if I could call it that. I've got over 40 years experience now working in business, from sales to inside sales, outside sales, inventory control, management. And now I've been almost 2 decades coaching businesses owners just like you. And I've been helping business owners make more money, work less, have more fun, and build great teams of people. Nothing for me could be more fulfilling in life. Zig Ziglar said it. I may repeat it in this webinar. If you want to get everything that you want out of life, help other people get what they want out of life. And that goes for everybody. So think about yourself as a business owner, help the people who work for you get the most out of life, and they will help you get the most out of life. So where does it begin? Well, it begins with leadership. And I'm going to talk about the different areas of leadership that are important. But here's the deal. I'm not sure where you're at in your business. Some of you clearly know that you're the leader in the business, and some of you might be just starting out, and some of you might be, in the middle of I think the folks in the construction industry, who are plumbers, electricians, carpenters, who decided to start their own business and started to develop a little bit of a team, haven't really looked at themselves as being leaders. You are the de facto leader in your company. You are the de facto glass ceiling in your company. As you grow, so will everything else grow. Jim Rohn said it: work harder on yourself than you do in your life, work harder on yourself than you do in your job or your business. As you become better, it will bleed into every area of your life. So let's talk about, what does it take to get a winning team? Well, first of all, your team needs to be aligned. You need to be working towards a common goal. If everybody's out for their own personal, they have their own silos in the business, they're out for their own personal well-being, whatever the case may be, you're not going to get everybody working together in alignment. And I've done so many team alignment days, once you get the team moving towards the same common goal, exciting things happen. We're going to talk more about that in this webinar. So the first thing you got to remember here for yourself as a business owner is you own the business. You are ultimately the one who's accountable for its success and responsible for its success. People who go below this line, blame, excuses, and denial, don't succeed in life, period. No discussion, no negotiation, no debate. People who blame other people, make excuses, or live in denial do not succeed. Now, here's a note for you business owners, because when I first share this particular learning with business owners, they're always looking, oh yeah, this is going to be so good for my team. I can't wait to introduce this to my team. It begins at the top. It really does. If you find that you've got a whole bunch of people that are working for you who blame other people, make excuses, or deny, I'm sorry to say that that's probably what you do. So take a look in the mirror first. Honestly, everything starts by taking a look in the mirror first. You own this ship. You own this ship. It's your job to develop the business, develop the team, develop the systems and processes as a leader. So hold yourself accountable, be responsible, and take ownership, and your team will start to do exactly the same thing. Now, the only real failure in life, my friends, is the failure to participate. People who sit on the sidelines or people who watch other people don't succeed again. Brian Tracy talked about this. He says, there's a bus that pulls up every day and it says the road to success on the side of the bus. Most people stand, jeer, and heckle the people who are getting on that bus. It's your job, again, to participate. If you give it 100%, you'll get 100% out of your business, your life, your learnings, your training, whatever it is. Give it all you can give. Now, the other thing to make sure that you get the most out of learning, period, I'm talking about in life in general, but also in this particular webinar, is to, can the I know? Harv Eker said it best in his book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, when he said, if you've read about it or you've watched it or you've seen somebody else do it, does not mean that you know it. And I can't tell you, like I said, I've been coaching businesses for almost 2 decades now. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through a model with somebody or a system or a process, and they start to work on it and they start to realize then how little they know about it. And this is a great place to embrace life from, to be honest with you, is just to say, the beauty of how I look at life is how little I do know and how much more there is for me to know and to learn. So can the I know? Otherwise, you might just end up like this cat. And you know what? I love that picture. I really do, because it represents a lot of people in life. They are captured, repeating day after day, because they're stuck in the I know. So to make sure you get the most out of everything, say, isn't that interesting? What can I learn from this? What's a nuance that's new to me? How might I apply this to my life? How might I apply this to my business? How might I help other people with this? When you engage with life like this, doors, windows, expansive, beautiful things start to happen and grow. So one of the things you need to really understand when you're building a great team of people is people, obviously. If you look at this slide, there's a big, giant iceberg here, and there's a purpose for that, is because the vast majority of an iceberg is below the waterline. A small part of the iceberg is above the waterline. And in fact, it's the iceberg that was below the waterline that sunk the Titanic. It's the iceberg that's below the waterline that potentially could sink your business. You see the actions, behaviors of the people who work for you, the people who you sell for, your family. But what you don't see is their skills, their beliefs, their values, their knowledge, their emotions, there's whether or not they're stressed or they suffer from anxiety, or the way they think about things, or their environment, and or they're depressed. That's what you don't see. Now, what you want to do when you've got a person with the right attitude is to work with them below the waterline. Here's the thing, I learned this from Marshall Goldsmith. If they've got a bad attitude, or they lack integrity, or they're dishonest, don't work with them. Let them go. Get rid of them. Sorry, I don't mean to sound callous or cold like that, but the old adage that says one rotten apple will spoil a bunch is so true. And I've seen it in businesses and companies that I've coached where they finally let go of that one toxic person, and everybody's after that's just like, oh man, it feels like a breath of fresh air around here now. So get to know your people. You don't have to get intimately involved in their personal life, but get to know them enough so you can understand and help them, because skills can be taught, beliefs can change, values can be understood, knowledge, obviously, we're talking about knowledge, getting control of people's emotions. And I'm going to talk a little bit about communication and leadership in another webinar, which is vitally important because it can ignite bad emotions. Whether or not people are stressed. You don't want to have a stressed out workplace. People don't think well in stressed out workplaces. People don't do good work in stressed out workplaces. And people don't stick around. Good people don't stick around in stressed out workplaces. I can tell you who does stick around in stressed out workplaces: the wrong people. Anxiety is just taking stress to that next level where it starts to become very physical. How people think, the process of thinking. There's thoughts and then there's thinking. Thoughts are these things that roll around inside your head and come to no conclusion. Thinking is asking yourself good questions, or asking your leadership team good questions. And then the environment. What kind of environment do your people work in? Is it sloppy? Is it messy? Is it dirty? Or is it meticulous? Steve Jobs was fantastic at this. He wanted the inside of a computer to look as good as the outside of the computer, because he understood that level of detail. It's important. It's the same in your business. Don't leave your business in a mess. And then if somebody's depressed, reach out to them, get them some help. Okay, so let's keep moving. So what does TEAM stand for? Together, everybody achieves more. Here's the thing. There is nothing that people can't do when they work together as a team. There is nothing that we cannot accomplish. We've overcome the biggest and most giant obstacles by working together. And it's a shame that we can't get government to work together. It's embarrassing, in fact, to watch government work against each other. They're supposed to be working for us, but they're working against each other because, hey, wait a minute, I want to be in power. No, I want to be in power. I don't care who's in power. Work for us. Work for us. We can change anything. We can solve any issue, any problem, any challenge. I don't care how big or small it is when we work together as a team. So let's talk a little bit about why people struggle with this. Some people have high respect for themselves, and other people have very low respect for themselves. Some people have very low respect for themselves. Other people have high respect for themselves. Some people have high respect for others and low respect for themselves. Those people who have high self-respect but low respect for others play the game of win-lose, meaning they're hostile and aggressive in the way that they approach life. Let's just plug the rest of this stuff in here. So people who play in the bottom left quartile there they play lose-lose, and that is they're manipulative and they're aggressive in their approach to life. And that's because of the environment that they've grown up in. And it's a dog-eat-dog world. And it's like, I need to get you, because if I don't get you, you're going to get me. Typically, these people end up in jail. Now, as I said, the people on the top left are win-lose. The people in the bottom left, lose-lose. The people in the bottom right are lose-win, meaning I will let you trample over me because I'm passive, so that you can win. That's not a healthy place to be either. Where we want to be is in the top right quartile, where you play the game of win-win. you're assertive in your approach to life. And I did a workshop for a company, and one of the participants said, how do you tell the difference between assertive and aggressive? It's obvious. It's obvious. There's a huge difference between being assertive and being aggressive. It's all about in the communication. So I want you to think about this. Create a win-win situation for you and your team, and it will do amazing things for you and your business. So let's talk about 6 steps to building a winning team of people. The first one is something that I've mentioned already, and that's strong leadership. Now, strong leadership is exactly what it says. You're moving in a direction that everybody else has agreed to help you move in. And I say that because, listen, you might be try to force all these round pegs into a square hole. It ain't going to work that way. Sorry to say. Strong leadership is understanding communication at its highest level. Strong leadership is understanding leadership at its highest level. John Maxwell, in his book, 5 Levels of Leadership, talked about the leadership this way. And the first level is that you're just the boss. So I need to listen to you just because you're the boss. The second level is, I kind of like you. You've done some interesting things, and I want to help you succeed. The third level is, you've accomplished some things that I want to learn how to accomplish, and so I'm going to follow you and lead. Follow you as a leader. The next level is, you have helped other people grow. When you've done that, you've reached the 4th level of leadership, which is where you should all aspire to be. Now, the 5th level of leadership is where people's reputation comes before them. The Oprah Winfrey's, the Steve Jobs, the Nelson Mandela's, the Martin Luther Kings of the world. Their reputation preceded them. So you're going to look, wow, take a look at this. This is amazing. So strong leadership. The next thing, I talked a little bit about this, is a common goal, which is a vision for your company. Here's the thing. I want to make this point very clear. This vision has to be bought in by everybody. It can't be just your vision and nobody else is supporting your vision. Or one day you're going to be, trucking out there in front, you're going to turn around, there's going to be nobody there. So you have to get buy-in. When the people who work for you go, if I help you get what you want, fulfill this vision, I'll get what I want. You've got people. You've got people that are going to go the extra mile. Now, the other part is to have rules of the game. And this is basically a set of rules that are, if I could call it, sort of loose tight, meaning it's kind of like a football. If you look at a football field, you've got boundaries. So, there's a lot of things that you can do inside those boundaries to win as a football team. It's the same kind of idea in business. You don't want to have, you can go to the bathroom between 10 and 10, 15, rules like that. It's rules like integrity, honesty, education, success, working together as a team, growth, support, those types of loose knit rules that get everybody playing inside that. And if everybody plays inside these rules, then they can pretty well do anything to succeed. The other is to have an action plan. Listen, you will never have a successful outcome without a plan. People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. Good people don't work for people who don't have a plan. Good people go someplace else because they feel like their opportunity to succeed and fulfill their hopes and dreams is someplace else. The other is to support risk-taking. There's nothing worse than sort of encouraging people to take risks, and then when they do and they make a mistake, that you slam a hammer down on their hand. Support risk-taking. Now, example of how I kind of learned this lesson was, I was working for a company out of Red Deer, and I made a bit of a blunder, and it cost the company, I think it was just about $2,000. And my boss didn't tear a strip off of me. He sat down with me and asked me, what had happened and what I could do to make sure that it didn't happen again. So he turned it into a coaching and learning experience or opportunity. The other is 100% involvement and inclusion. Remember, thinking of a sporting team, think of a hockey team. There's 4 lines typically on any given professional hockey team. If the people on the fourth line don't feel as important as the people on the first, as appreciated as the people on the first line, they're not going to play hard and play full out. The people on that first line, like, listen, they're getting all the press and they're making all the money and all the perks which comes with being a famous athlete. The people on the fourth line, they're there for a main reason, is to make sure that they don't get scored on and make sure that they allow the other players to get more time to rest. If those players don't have the time to rest, then they don't get to play full out. So 100% involvement and 100% inclusion is to get your team involved and keep them included. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what makes an unhealthy organization. The first thing here is there's a lot of politicking going on. There's a lot of confusion, and there's a lot of unhealthy turnover. And what I mean by unhealthy turnover is good people are leaving. So productivity and morale is down. A healthy organization, little politicking, if any at all, no confusion, if any at all, unhealthy. There's, healthy turnover. There's healthy turnover, meaning that bad people are leaving. I'll correct that slide after I'm done. There's the bad people are leaving. And so you have high productivity and high morale. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about modalities of communication and learning, because this is important for you to understand from the perspective of when you're teaching and training your team. It's called visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual meaning people learn by watching people. Auditory meaning people learn by listening to people. And kinesthetic meaning people learn by doing. For myself, I am a visual kinesthetic, meaning I taught myself how to swim by watching other people swim and then swimming. I taught myself how to golf by watching other people golf and then getting out and golfing. If somebody's telling me something and only telling me something, they might as well be talking Greek to me, because I'm not getting it. I'm not picking it up. So 40% of people are visual, 20% are auditory, and 40% are kinesthetic. So you want to make sure that that you're touching all modalities. I worked with a guy who was in the reclamation business, and he had to fill out these reports, and they were taking him about 5 hours a week. And he said he just couldn't seem to get the people to be able to fill these things out properly. And so I said, well, try using the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So basically I said, what you want to do is get this person to sit right beside you, fill out a half a dozen of these forms, and just walk through that with them. And then set it aside, and then get a new form, and then have them fill it out. So now you've visually showed them, you've auditory told them, now you're kinesthetically teaching them. Solved his problem. He never had to fill out another form after that. They were all filled out by his EA. So listen, I know it's a struggle out there. It's a struggle growing a successful, profitable business that can work without you, but it definitely can. Thousands of businesses do it. But one thing that the difference between those that succeed and those that don't succeed is don't ignore your problems. Don't ignore them. If you got challenges with your team, don't pretend they're not there, because they're following you everywhere you go. They're following you to bed, they're following you in the morning, they're following you when you go for lunch, they follow you when you go everywhere. So deal with these problems. And for those of you who are interested in learning more about team building, you can get a hold of me. I'm happy to come in there and chat with you about how I can help you build your team. So there's sort of 9 keys to building a winning team. You got to have a vision statement, which says this is where we're going, that everybody's bought into. The mission statement basically is a statement that says this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to hire the best people, we're going to train the best people, we're going to get them the best education, we're going to give them the best tools to do the work. So that's your mission statement. Then the culture statement is what I talked about with the rules of the game. So you got those loose, tight rules. So if you play within the boundaries, you can do pretty well anything you want. Have an organizational chart. so many businesses don't have an organizational chart because they think, hey, I'm just a small business. No, you're a big business with training wheels on. Organizational chart really lays out, first of all, who is going to answer to who. There's nothing worse than having more than one boss telling you what to do. And secondly, it also explains how the work flows through the business. The next is positional contracts, sometimes referred to as job descriptions. I can't tell you how many times the pathetic job descriptions, if any, that I see in businesses. You got to have a job description. Otherwise, people want to know how to win in your business. And if they know what they need to do to win, they're going to be better at winning. Key performance indicators, what are the measurements that you need to have in place so that you know when you're succeeding, so that you know things are going in the right direction or they're going in the wrong direction. And then how-to manuals. All the do jobs in your business should have how-to manuals. Now, obviously, some things are way too complex. But if you think about, I don't know, a small little road repair job, this has to be done first, this has to be done second, this has to be done third, this has to be done fourth. Then people aren't standing around there waiting for somebody to tell them what to do, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then have milestones, which is typically what I would say you should have monthly meetings where you check to see where you're at towards these so-called milestones, and then quarterly as well, and then celebrate. Celebrate when you hit milestones. People who are appreciated for what they do more than people that are not appreciated for what they do. End of story. Okay, so I'm trying to keep these webinars to under a half hour. I'm not exactly sure where I'm at right now, but I'm rolling into the end of this one. But there's a couple things I want to share here before I do, and that is, listen, I know for a fact that somewhere, sometime, you're going to end up someplace. Now, this aggregate of marginal gains really talks about small changes that you make in your business. And that is small things either that over time will add up. Poor decisions over time will also add up. So in a position where you make a good decision, might not and probably will not make a difference in your business tomorrow, maybe even next week, but the next month, the month after that, the quarter after that, the year after that. And it's the same with making poor decisions. Some people are going to they're going to either make poor decisions or make no decisions. And 5 years from now, they're going to look back and go, what happened? Where'd the 5 years go? How come we aren't farther along than we should have been? So as you can see, this is step 7 in another presentation that I have done, and I'm going to do live. And it really covers the whole gamut of a business. I want to share something with you before I let you go, and that is an offer to you. We have a full online business academy, which is basically like an MBA, online MBA. It's customized roadmap, lead generation, social media, profit growth strategies, financial secret weapons, creative competition crushing marketing. All of these have modules where they have video training and workbooks. So you download the workbook, you watch the video, you fill out the workbook, and move on through the whole process. And as you can see here, profits, sales mastery, more transactions, conversions, and lead generation. Now, here's the thing. I think everybody should start off with a team alignment day. That's where I come in for an entire day to work with your team, and I'll walk them through a module process that by the end of the day will just pull people and start to engage them in a way that you've never probably ever seen in your business. In fact, unless you've done something like this, you definitely haven't seen anything like this. And you might say, but Lori, this costs money. First of all, it's not that much money, and it will make you a lot of money. But if you're concerned about how you're going to pay for this stuff, take advantage of my profit acceleration assessment of your company, where I'll take you through 12 areas in your business, and I'll find you a minimum of 100K in your business. Now, it might be 100K in revenue if you're a small business. it might be 100K in profit if you're a little bit bigger. If you're, like I just did a profit acceleration assessment of a company that did $27 million, and we put together a plan that will put another $1.2 million into his pocket in the next 12 months. So for those of you who are interested, you could email me at lori@lorimcnaughton.com and just say, yes, I want to take advantage of your offer. Now, I got to be straight up front with you. I'm going to have a conversation with you first on the phone for about 15 minutes. And it's really just to discover if this is going to be of value for you. And, you know, we're all very, very busy people. And this 45 minutes is 45 minutes that I know if I'm going to invest that time in you, I want it to be valuable for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do business with me. It just means that you're going to actually take something away from this. Because I always say at the end of this thing, you're going to say yes or you're going to say no. And I don't mean yes or no, you're going to do business with me, but you're going to say yes or no, let's take the next step. I need to know more about what it is that you're going to do. Yes, no, both good answers. I'll think about it. You know, maybe, I don't know. Those are all just wimpy answers, frankly. You know, I'll think about it. You're the type of person that kicks the can down the road. And then once you catch up to the can, you kick it down the road again. So if you're interested in number one, getting the most out of your team, number two, how can I make my business more profitable? Email me at lorimcnaughton.com, lori@lorimcnaughton.com, and just let me know and I'll get in touch with you right away. And or you could click on the link and book a 15-minute discovery meeting with me. Until next time, have a great day.